Have you ever wondered who really profits when countries go to war? When I was a kid, I remember watching the news with my grandfather as war broke out in a distant land. He would shake his head and mutter about the senseless loss of life. But one day he said something that stuck with me. Follow the money, kid. That's where you'll find the real story. That got me thinking, who really benefits from these conflicts? Why do some people seem to profit while others suffer? The economics of war. As we find ourselves on the precipice of World War III, let's dive into the heart of it. Who benefits from taking us to war? To make a long story short, war is big business. The economies of nations often hinge on the activities of the military-industrial complex. This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's a stark reality backed by data and historical events. War, who is it good for? Are all wars bankers' wars? Cui bono? A historical perspective of war and wealth. Wars have always been catalysts for economic activity. Think back to World War II. While Europe and parts of Asia were devastated, the United States emerged as an economic superpower. Industries flourished and the unemployment rate plummeted. To put it simply, war can create demand on a massive scale, fueling economic growth in unexpected ways. The term military-industrial complex was popularized by President Dwight D. Eisenhower in his 1961 farewell address. It's the cozy relationship between a nation's military and the defense industry that supplies it. This complex isn't just a theory, it's a well-oiled machine where billions of dollars are exchanged. Companies like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Raytheon thrive in this ecosystem, with government contracts that are often immune to economic downturns. Defense contractors, or should that be offense contractors like Lockheed Martin and Boeing, don't just build planes and missiles, they build fortunes. In 2020 alone, Lockheed Martin secured $75 billion in government contracts. These contracts are the lifeblood of many offense companies, ensuring steady revenue streams regardless of the global economic climate. It's a stark contrast to the uncertainty faced by other industries. Here's a fun fact. The offense industry spends millions on lobbying each year. According to OpenSecrets.org in 2020, the offense sector spent over $100 million on lobbying efforts. This isn't just about influencing policy, it's about shaping the future of global conflict. Lobbyists work to ensure that offense budgets remain robust and that policymakers prioritize military spending. Economic benefits for defense contractors. When a new conflict arises, offense contractors often see their stock prices soar. For instance, during the early stages of the Iraq War, stocks for major offense companies experienced significant upticks. This isn't a coincidence. War increases demand for military hardware, from ammunition to advanced weaponry. The banking sector financing war. Banks aren't just passive players in the game of war. They finance the offense contractors, manage the bonds that fund military operations, and sometimes even provide loans to war-torn nations for reconstruction. Take JP Morgan Chase, for example, which has a long history of financing military ventures. The financial sector benefits from the constant flow of money in and out of war economies. Oil companies fueling conflict. Oil has always been at the center of many conflicts. The Gulf Wars are prime examples, where control over oil resources was a significant motivator. Companies like ExxonMobil and BP often find themselves in the spotlight, benefiting from the instability that drives oil prices up. Higher prices mean higher profits for these oil giants. Reconstruction contracts, building after destruction. War-torn regions often require extensive rebuilding efforts. Companies like Halliburton and Bechtel secure lucrative contracts for reconstruction. After the Iraq War, Halliburton, for instance, received billions in contracts to rebuild the nation's infrastructure. This cycle of destruction and reconstruction is a profitable one for these corporations. Politicians and war power and profit. Politicians aren't just policymakers, they're often investors and stakeholders. They have a vested interest in the companies that benefit from war. Campaign contributions from offense contractors are substantial, ensuring that politicians prioritize military spending. This symbiotic relationship keeps the wheels of the military-industrial complex turning smoothly. War as an economic stimulus. War can act as an economic stimulus, especially during times of recession. The production demands of war create jobs and invigorate industries. During World War II, the United States saw significant economic growth as industries converted to war production, pulling the country out of the Great Depression. The cost of war, who pays? While some profit immensely from war, the costs are often borne by the public. Higher taxes, national debt, and the loss of human lives are the real price of war. The economic burden falls on the taxpayers, who fund these military ventures through their hard-earned money. Public perception, war and legacy media influence. The media plays a crucial role in shaping public perception of war. Networks often have close ties with offense contractors, leading to biased reporting that favors military action. This manipulation of public opinion ensures continued support for military spending and interventions. The global arms trade. The global arms trade is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Countries export weapons to conflict zones, fueling ongoing wars. The United States, Russia, and China are the largest arms exporters, profiting from global instability. This trade is a key component of their economies. Technological advancements. War-driven innovation. Many technological advancements we enjoy today have roots in military research. The internet, GPS, and even microwave ovens were initially developed for military purposes. War accelerates innovation, pushing boundaries in technology that eventually trickles down to civilian use. Private military companies profiting from conflict. Private military companies, or PMCs, like Blackwater, now known as Academy, offer security services in war zones. These companies are often hired by governments and corporations, profiting from the chaos of conflict. They operate in the shadows, providing a mercenary force for hire. Foreign policy and economic interests. Foreign policy decisions are often influenced by economic interests. Countries engage in conflicts to protect their economic assets or to gain new ones. The wars in the Middle East, for example, have significant ties to oil interests, with foreign policy driven by the need to secure energy resources. The role of intelligence agencies. Intelligence agencies like the CIA and MI6 play a crucial role in orchestrating and managing conflicts. These agencies often have covert operations that align with economic interests, influencing foreign governments and destabilizing regions to benefit their home country's economic agenda. Economic consequences for war-torn regions. While some profit, war-torn regions suffer immensely. Infrastructure is destroyed, economies collapse, and poverty rates skyrocket. The economic consequences for these regions are devastating, leading to long-term instability and hardship for their populations. Ethical considerations, profit versus humanity. At the heart of the matter lies a significant ethical dilemma. Profiting from war means profiting from human suffering. The juxtaposition of economic gain against the backdrop of destruction and loss of life raises critical questions about the morality of such profits. So, to wrap it all up, wars aren't just about battles and borders, they're about big bucks. From defense contractors raking in billions, banks financing the chaos, oil companies cashing in on rising prices, to politicians and lobbyists playing their parts in this well-oiled machine, it's clear that these endless wars fuel more than just conflict. It's a money-making machine for a select few, while the real cost is borne by everyday people through taxes, national debt, and most tragically, human lives. Now, if this deep dive into the economics of war has got you thinking differently about global conflicts and who's really benefiting, make sure you drop a bomb on that like button. If you want more insights into the hidden forces shaping our world, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the truth behind the headlines. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay curious and keep questioning.